The Strait of Hormuz, 21 miles wide at its narrowest point. 1/3 of the world's seaborne petroleum passes through here, 21 million barrels per day. If this strait closes, the global economy collapses. Oil hits $400 per barrel, maybe higher. Gas stations run dry, airlines ground flights, factories shut down. Developing nations face famine, industrial economies ration fuel. This isn't hypothetical. Iran threatens to close Hormuz regularly, and they have the capability to do it. This is the scenario. Iran closes the strait, the world holds its breath, and oil prices explode. The geography makes it possible. The Strait of Hormuz connects the Persian Gulf to the Gulf of Oman and the Arabian Sea. On one side, Iran, 1,500 miles of coastline, mountains, missile bases, radar sites. On the other, Oman and the UAE, narrow, shallow, no alternative route. The shipping lanes are constrained. Large tankers must navigate carefully. Any obstruction blocks traffic immediately. Iran controls the northern shore completely. Strategic advantage. They can see every ship, track every movement, target anything. The U.S. Fifth Fleet operates from Bahrain, inside the Gulf. If Hormuz closes, they're trapped too. This geography is Iran's weapon. How Iran closes the strait. Iran doesn't need a full naval blockade. Too expensive, too obvious. Instead, asymmetric tactics, multiple methods, layered approach. Method 1, naval mines. Iran has thousands of mines. Contact mines, magnetic mines, acoustic mines. Deployed by small boats at night, civilian fishing vessels, dhows. No one notices until ships start hitting them. A single mine sinks or disables a tanker. Insurance companies panic. Shipping stops immediately. Even the threat of mines is enough. Tanker captains refuse to transit. Too risky. The strait effectively closes without a shot fired. Method 2, missile attacks. Iran fires anti-ship missiles at a tanker. Doesn't need to sink it. Just damage it. Create a burning wreck in the shipping lane. The channel narrows. Traffic halts. Other ships won't risk passing a burning tanker. Environmental disaster. Oil spill. Navigation hazard. The strait is blocked for days, maybe weeks. Method 3. Swarm boat attacks. 100 small boats, armed with rockets and explosives. They surround a tanker. Attack from all sides. The tanker has no defense. Civilian vessel. Unarmed. It's overwhelmed, disabled, abandoned. Now there's a dead ship blocking the channel. Salvage takes time, weeks, months maybe. Meanwhile, oil flow stops. Method 4. Sinking a ship intentionally. Iran seizes an old tanker, fills it with concrete or explosives, positions it in the narrowest part of the channel, sinks it. Now there's a physical obstruction, deliberate blockage. Clearing it requires specialized equipment, weeks of work. The strait is closed. The economic impact is immediate. Oil prices spike within hours. Brent crude, $200 per barrel, then $300, then $400, maybe $500 if the closure lasts. Gas prices in the U.S., $10 per gallon, $15 in some states. Europe, $20 per gallon equivalent. People can't afford to drive. Public transport is overwhelmed. Airlines cancel flights. Jet fuel is too expensive. International travel collapses. Shipping costs explode. Container ships run on bunker fuel. Fuel costs quadruple. Shipping rates quintuple. Consumer goods become unaffordable. Inflation hits 20%, maybe 30%. Central banks raise interest rates, trying to contain it. But supply shocks can't be controlled by monetary policy. Recession begins. GDP contracts. Unemployment rises. Governments face impossible choices. The developing world suffers most. Countries dependent on imported oil face disaster. Pakistan, Bangladesh, Philippines, Egypt. They can't afford $400 oil. Power plants shut down. Electricity rationed. Hospitals lose power. People die. Food production collapses. Fertilizer requires oil. Tractors need fuel. Famine threatens. Millions at risk. Political instability, riots, coups, collapse. The humanitarian crisis is catastrophic. Industrial nations fare better, but still suffer. Strategic petroleum reserves are tapped. U.S., Europe, Japan. But reserves are limited, maybe 90 days of supply. If Hormuz stays closed longer, reserves run out. Then rationing begins. Fuel cards, quotas, restrictions. Only essential vehicles allowed. Emergency services, food delivery. Private cars banned except weekends. Economic activity slows. People can't get to work. Businesses close. Layoffs, unemployment. The recession deepens. The political pressure mounts. Every government faces the same question. Fix this. Now. But how? Negotiate with Iran? They have leverage. Military action, risky, could make it worse. Wait it out? Unacceptable. Economies are collapsing. Leaders are paralyzed. No good options. Iran's demands are steep. Lift all sanctions, immediately, unconditionally. Recognize Iranian regional dominance. Accept their sphere of influence. Withdraw U.S. forces from the Gulf, permanently. Guarantee no military action against Iran. Ever. These demands are humiliating for the West. But refusing means continued economic catastrophe. Politicians face a terrible choice. Give in to Iran's demands, or let their economies burn. Most choose survival over pride. Sanctions are lifted. Negotiations begin. Concessions are made. Iran wins without firing a major battle. The military response is complicated. The U.S. considers force. Reopen Hormuz by military action. But how? Mine clearing takes time. Specialized ships, sonar, divers. Under fire from Iranian missiles. Extremely dangerous. Losses are guaranteed. Ships hit. Sailors killed. Progress is slow. Attacking Iranian missile sites. Airstrikes, cruise missiles, targeting coastal batteries. But Iran has mobile launchers, hundreds of them. Destroy 10, they move 20 more into position. You can't eliminate them all. And Iran retaliates, escalation spiral. More missiles, more mines, more attacks. The strait stays closed longer. Amphibious assault. Seize Iranian territory, control the northern shore. This requires massive forces, thousands of Marines. Casualties would be enormous. Iran is prepared. Fortified positions, anti-landing defenses. It's a meat grinder. Even if successful, holding territory is difficult. Iran counterattacks, guerrilla warfare, insurgency. The U.S. gets bogged down. Another endless war. Politically unacceptable. So military options are limited. Convoy escorts, minesweepers, defensive posture. Gradually reopen the strait. Slowly, carefully. But it takes months. And oil prices stay elevated the entire time. The damage is done. The insurance industry is crippled. Shipping insurance premiums skyrocket. War risk insurance becomes unaffordable. Even after Hormuz reopens, insurers are terrified. Premiums stay high. Shipping costs remain elevated. Oil prices never fully return to pre-crisis levels. The global economy is permanently damaged. Growth slows. Living standards decline. The world is poorer. Iran's regional power grows. They demonstrated they can hold the world hostage. Neighboring countries take note. Saudi Arabia, UAE, Kuwait, Bahrain, all vulnerable to Iranian pressure. They accommodate Iran, make concessions. Security arrangements shift. U.S. influence wanes. Iran becomes the dominant regional power, not through conquest, through leverage. The threat of closing Hormuz is enough. The global oil market restructures. Alternative supply routes are prioritized. Pipelines through Saudi Arabia. Capacity increased. Tankers reroute around Africa. Longer, more expensive, but safer. Investment in renewable energy accelerates. Countries want energy independence. Reduce reliance on Gulf oil. Solar, wind, nuclear, electric vehicles. The transition speeds up. Long-term oil demand decreases. Iran's leverage diminishes. But that takes decades. In the near term, Iran holds the cards. The strategic lessons are clear. Chokepoints are vulnerabilities. Hormuz, Suez, Malacca, Bab el-Mandeb, all critical, all at risk. Nations that control chokepoints have disproportionate power. Small countries can threaten superpowers. Iran proves this. Geography matters more than military might. Asymmetric strategies work. You don't need a large navy to control sea lanes. Just the right geography, the right tactics. Iran's strategy is effective and replicable. Other nations will copy it. The world becomes more fragile. The historical precedent exists. Suez Crisis, 1956. Canal closed for months. Global shipping disrupted. Oil shortages, but the impact was smaller. Oil demand was lower then. Today, the world consumes 100 million barrels per day. 21% passes through Hormuz. The disruption would be catastrophic. Iran-Iraq War, 1980s. Tanker war. Both sides attacked oil tankers. Hundreds hit. Insurance premiums soared. Shipping slowed. But the strait never fully closed. Today, Iran is more capable. Better missiles, more boats. A modern closure would be total. The diplomatic efforts intensify. International pressure on Iran, UN resolutions, sanctions threats. But Iran is defiant. They have leverage. They demand respect, recognition, concessions. Negotiations drag on, months, years. Meanwhile, the global economy adjusts. New realities, higher costs, lower growth. The world learns to live with Iranian power, or prepares for the next crisis. The countdown scenario. Imagine tensions escalate, U.S.-Iran confrontation, military incident, Iranian boat attacked. Iran threatens Hormuz closure. Day 1, Iran announces mines have been laid. Shipping companies panic, tankers divert. Oil prices jump $50 overnight. Day 2, a tanker hits a mine, explodes. 15 crew dead. Oil spill, channel partially blocked. Oil hits $200. Gas stations see lines. Panic buying. Day 3, Iran fires missiles at another tanker. It burns, drifts, blocks shipping lane. Oil hits 250. Stock markets crash. Dow down 3,000 points. Day 4, swarm boats attack a third tanker. Disabled, abandoned, another obstruction. Oil hits 300. Governments declare emergencies. Strategic reserves tapped. Day 5, the U.S. attempts mine clearing. Iranian missiles target the minesweepers. 2 ships hit, dozens killed. Operations suspended. Oil hits 350. Rationing begins. Fuel cards issued. Day 6, Iran seizes a large tanker. Positions it in the narrowest point. Threatens to sink it. Ultimate blockage. Oil hits 400. Global panic. Riots in some countries. Day 7, diplomatic breakthrough, maybe. Negotiations begin. Iran demands met partially. But the damage is done. The strait is blocked. Clearing takes months. Oil stays above 300. Recession is inevitable. The aftermath. Eventually, Hormuz reopens. Mines cleared. Wrecks removed. Shipping resumes. But nothing is the same. Oil markets are traumatized. Prices stay elevated. Countries diversify supply. Reduce dependence on Gulf oil. Renewable energy investment triples. Electric vehicles become mainstream faster. Iran's leverage diminishes over time. But in the short term, they won. Proved their power, humiliated the West. Forced concessions, lifted sanctions. The world remembers and fears the next closure. The final question, will Iran actually do this? Depends. If they feel existential threat, regime collapse imminent, then yes, absolutely. Closing Hormuz is their nuclear option. Economic warfare, asymmetric retaliation. Hurt everyone, create chaos, force concessions. If they're going down, they take the world economy with them. That's the calculation. And it's credible. The U.S. must avoid pushing Iran into a corner, where Hormuz closure is their only option. Diplomacy, de-escalation, engagement. Not appeasement, but realism. Recognize Iranian concerns. Find compromise. Prevent the nightmare scenario. Because once Hormuz closes, everyone loses. Iran, the West, the entire world. $400 oil destroys economies. Millions suffer, lives ruined. All because of 21 miles. The narrowest point. The most dangerous choke point. The strait the world depends on and cannot afford to lose. This is the Hormuz scenario. The nightmare that keeps strategists awake. The threat that shapes global policy. The leverage that gives Iran power. And the reality the world must navigate. Carefully, constantly, or face economic collapse. The shipping industry perspective. Tanker captains face impossible decisions. Transit Hormuz and risk death. Mines, missiles, swarm attacks. Or stay away and lose contracts. Most choose safety, refuse to enter the Gulf. Their companies support this. Insurance won't cover war zones. Even if a captain is willing, insurers say no. Policies are voided, claims denied. The tanker sits idle, crew unpaid, company bankrupt. Thousands of seafarers are affected. Jobs lost, families suffer. The maritime industry is paralyzed. Ship owners demand compensation from governments, from Iran. But there's no one to pay. Losses run into billions. Bankruptcies cascade. Major shipping companies collapse. The industry takes years to recover. The environmental catastrophe. Burning tankers leak oil, massive spills. The Persian Gulf is an ecological disaster. Marine life dies, coral reefs destroyed. Fishing industries collapse, coastal communities suffer. Desalination plants are threatened. Gulf states depend on them. Oil contaminates intake valves, plants shut down. Fresh water becomes scarce. Dubai, Abu Dhabi, Kuwait City. Millions face water shortages. The humanitarian crisis deepens. Cleanup takes decades, costs hundreds of billions. But during the crisis, no one cleans anything. The priority is survival, not environment. The oil just spreads, damages accumulate. Future generations inherit a poisoned gulf. The technology race intensifies. After Hormuz closes, every nation invests in alternatives. Electric vehicles, battery technology, hydrogen fuel, solar panels, wind turbines, nuclear reactors. Billions pour into research. Decades of progress compressed into years. Tesla stock triples. Renewable energy companies boom. Oil companies face extinction. Stock prices collapse. Stranded assets, worthless refineries. The energy transition accelerates violently. Iran inadvertently destroys the oil age. Their leverage becomes temporary. Within 10 years, oil demand crashes. Hormuz becomes irrelevant. But Iran doesn't see this coming. They think oil power is permanent. It's not. The military lessons learned. The U.S. Navy is humiliated. Couldn't keep Hormuz open. Couldn't protect shipping. Carriers are useless in confined waters. Destroyers are vulnerable to swarms. Minesweepers are too slow. The entire doctrine is questioned. Admirals resign. Investigations. Reforms. New strategies. Distributed forces. Unmanned systems. Swarm drones to counter swarm boats. Autonomous minesweepers. AI-guided interceptors. The Navy transforms, but too late for this crisis. Next time, they'll be ready. If there is a next time. Iran learns too. Their strategy worked. Asymmetric warfare wins. Other nations copy the playbook. North Korea, Venezuela, Yemen, all develop chokepoint strategies. Small nations gain disproportionate power. The world becomes more unstable. Superpowers lose control. Regional actors dictate terms. The balance of power shifts. The political aftermath in Iran. Closing Hormuz is a gamble for Iran's leadership. If it works, they're heroes, stood up to America, won concessions. But if it backfires, they're blamed. Internal opposition grows. Sanctions hurt Iranians too. The economy suffers. People are angry. Protests, riots, crackdowns. The regime's legitimacy is questioned. Hardliners gain power. Moderates are sidelined. Iran becomes more authoritarian, more isolated. Or the regime collapses. Revolution, chaos. Either way, Iran is unstable. And instability in Iran means regional chaos. The global strategic realignment. China and Russia support Iran, diplomatically, economically. They see an opportunity, weaken the West, gain influence. China offers loans, buys Iranian oil at discount. Russia sells weapons, shares intelligence. Iran becomes a client state, dependent on Beijing and Moscow. The West loses the Middle East. Saudi Arabia hedges, talks to China, reduces U.S. dependence. Israel feels abandoned, takes matters into own hands. Strikes Iran unilaterally. Regional war explodes. The Middle East is lost to American influence. A new Cold War emerges, U.S. versus China-Russia-Iran axis. The world splits into blocks, trade fractures, conflict escalates. All because Hormuz closed. The warning signs are ignored. For years, analysts warned about Hormuz vulnerability. Reports, studies, war games. Pentagon knew the risks. State Department knew. But nothing was done. No alternative pipelines built. No strategic reserves expanded. Diplomacy with Iran was half-hearted. Sanctions were rigid. The crisis was predictable, preventable, but short-term thinking prevailed. Politicians focused on elections, not long-term security. Now everyone pays the price. The lesson: ignore warnings at your peril. Strategic foresight matters. Preparation prevents catastrophe. But it's too late now. Hormuz is closed. The damage is done. The counterfactual scenario. What if diplomacy had worked? What if the Iran nuclear deal survived? Sanctions lifted gradually. Iran integrated into global economy. Trade increases. Iran's incentive to disrupt decreases. Hormuz stays open. Oil flows freely. Prices remain stable. Economies grow. Everyone wins. But that didn't happen. The deal collapsed. Hardliners on both sides won. Confrontation escalated until crisis. Now we're here. $400 oil. Economic collapse. The cost of failed diplomacy. The role of Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia has spare capacity, can increase production. But it's not enough to replace Hormuz volumes. And Saudi oil still has to ship through Hormuz or the Red Sea. Houthi attacks in the Red Sea increase. Iran's proxies are coordinated. Saudi exports are threatened too. They can't save the global market. In fact, Saudi Arabia benefits from high prices. Revenue soars, budgets balance, deficits disappear. They're in no hurry to solve the crisis. Geopolitically, Saudi gains? Iran is isolated, blamed for global chaos. Saudi Arabia is the responsible actor, the reliable partner. U.S.-Saudi relations strengthen. Riyadh gets what it wants: military support, political backing. Iran's gamble backfires diplomatically. The conspiracy theories emerge. Did the U.S. let this happen? Some believe America wanted an excuse to destroy Iran. Let them close Hormuz, then justify total war. Regime change, occupation, control of oil. Others say Saudi Arabia orchestrated it. Wanted high oil prices, blamed Iran. Profited while the world suffered. Still others blame Israel. False flag, create crisis, force U.S. intervention, eliminate Iranian threat permanently. The truth is simpler. Miscalculation, escalation, stupidity. No grand conspiracy, just bad decisions compounding. Iran felt cornered, overreacted. The U.S. was unprepared, couldn't respond effectively. The global economy was fragile, collapsed under shock. That's it. No masterminds, just chaos. The media coverage is relentless. 24-hour news cycles, oil prices scrolling constantly. Experts debating, politicians blaming. Social media explodes, panic, anger, fear. Misinformation spreads, rumors, fake news. People don't know what to believe. Gas station lines are filmed, fights break out. Looting in some cities, martial law in others. The images are apocalyptic. Meanwhile, in wealthy bubbles, life continues. Private jets still fly, yachts still cruise. The rich are insulated, for now. But eventually, even they feel it. Stock portfolios crash, businesses fail. Luxury goods markets collapse. No one's buying. Everyone suffers, some more than others. The crisis is universal. The timeline to resolution. Week 1, panic. Oil hits 400, chaos. Week 2, diplomacy begins, back channels, negotiations. Week 3, Iran states demands, West considers. Week 4, partial agreement, some sanctions lifted. Week 5, minesweeping starts, slow progress. Week 6, first tanker transits successfully, carefully. Week 8, shipping resumes, limited, cautious. Week 12, Hormuz is functionally open, but damaged. Oil prices drop, 200, then 150, but never back to pre-crisis levels. Permanent increase, permanent damage. The new normal, expensive energy, slower growth. The world adjusts, reluctantly. The geopolitical lessons: chokepoints are power. Small nations can hold the world hostage. Geography matters more than military might. Asymmetric warfare works. Diplomacy is cheaper than war. But sometimes war happens anyway, and everyone loses. These lessons are written in $400 oil, in collapsed economies, in millions of suffering people. The world won't forget, can't afford to forget, because next time it could be worse. Malacca Strait, Bab el-Mandeb, Suez Canal, all vulnerable, all critical. One closure, global catastrophe. This is the fragile world we live in. Connected, dependent, vulnerable, and Iran just proved it. 21 miles. That's all it takes to bring the world to its knees.